Morallians. Important side note. This species is heavily inspired by Betelgeusians and Jarilans of Pinwheel series made by magnificent Snekguy. Much of their theme was taken directly from Autumn War series, which I enjoy to such extent that I took Betelgeusians and transported them into Warhammer 40k. I did it after getting permission from the author. I will be using art from his website in addition to those made by Marcsimo. I recommend his series. Links are in the description below. With that out of the way, let's continue. Homeworld. Corallia. A Terran-like world, but one which seems to be in eternal autumn, as orange and yellow replaced green on vast majority of the plant life. It is unassuming from orbit, but this world houses unimaginably massive underground hives of insectoid Morallians. Corallia isn't original Morallian homeworld. As far as it is known, their home was destroyed by an unknown faction which led to exodus of the Morallians and their very aggressive nature. Physical characteristics. Type: insectoid. Height: depending on the caste, usually between 1.5 to 2 meters, with the exception of the queen, that can be even 12 meters tall. Weight: majority around 100 kilograms. Queens can weigh few tons. Coloration: extremely diverse. Usually depends on their world of origin, as their carapace adapts to naturally mimic their environment. Diet: omnivore. Senses: incredible sense of smell, good hearing and sight. Forms of communication: vocal, gesticulation, smell and pheromones. Reproduction: queen produces eggs. Incubation and maturity depends on the caste. Queen egg: 1 year of incubation, 4 years to maturity. Ambassadors and commanders: 10th month incubation, 2 years maturity. Drones and pilots: 4 months of incubation, 6 months to maturity. Workers and repletes: 2 months of incubation, 3 months to maturity. Lifespan: depending on the caste. Queen between 300 and 600 years. Ambassadors and commanders 100 years. Drones and pilots 24 years. Workers and repletes 12 years. Special traits. Morallians are insectoid species with 7 main castes, but they do have ability or potential of genetically engineering new ones if needed. Those specialized castes are usually created to accomplish extremely specific tasks or are variants of existing castes. Most commonly encountered castes are: Queen is the leader of a hive and takes a role of a central supercomputer that can direct operations on planetary or even system-wide scale. They are also responsible for the entirety of Morallian technology. Ambassadors and commanders are critical in communication with other species and coordinating actions of the hive, as they are capable of relaying orders and concepts between coalition members and the queen. Drones and pilots are soldiers and pilots of Morallian vehicles. They take a role of defending the hive or fighting by its will on the ground and in the void. Workers build everything what Hive needs. They are different from one another, as Queen produces specialized workers for any given task, from digging holes to making guns. Replies are responsible for feeding the Hive. They can eat almost any biological material and transform it into honey that is used in feeding entirety of the Hive. Morallians possess the ability to grow their technology and create biocomputers and biomachines that can interface with standard in technology and fuse with it. This biotechnology can also very easily link with Morallians. Morallians possess pheromones, like many other Hive insectoid species, which is a main way of communication for the species. Morallians don't possess psychers and have similarly weak souls as the Tau. All attempts at creating psyker Morallians using their natural ability to manipulate genes ended in failure. As far as it is understood, Morallian DNA is incompatible with psyker genes. Morallian queens possess incredible intellect, and as individuals they are easier compared to supercomputers and are technically more intelligent than any other known species by the Coalition. However, this intellect is focused on managing the Hive and control of it. They also have very limited ability to comprehend ideas and concepts of civilized species. As such, they utilize proxies like ambassadors or commanders. For the Queen, fate of the Hive is priority, and they will do everything to ensure its safety. The Queens are the ones responsible for designing Morallian biotech and gene-editing members of the castes to accomplish given tasks. Psychological characteristic. Morallians are a hive, but not a hive mind. They communicate through pheromones and follow instructions of the Queen. As mentioned before, Queens are beings of incredible intellect, but their minds has problems comprehending many concepts that are common among civilized species. Queens are using proxies, like ambassadors and commanders, that were specifically genetically modified to comprehend and enable communication between Morallian hives and other civilized species. Some hives expanded this ability to workers, drones, and pilots to ensure ease of communication with members of a coalition, but it's not universal, as some queens sees this as inefficient. Morallians, in general, are collective species that work for the good of the hive. Only ambassadors and commanders show any real sign of greater autonomy or independence from the hive, as they are forced to take initiative in the queen's place to ensure good position of the hive. Those two castes are quite individualistic and many times quite different from one another, as they are more directly handcrafted individuals by Queen's great mind. History. In the distant past, Morallian homeworld was destroyed by the unknown enemy. Morallians managed to steal a warp drive from this enemy and, using it, escaped into the warp, where they were lost for unknown period of time. Their extremely weak souls made them invisible to the demons and allowed them to pass through the warp without a Gellar field, basically unnoticed. They exited the warp and crash-landed on Corellia, where they restarted their civilization. Trauma of losing their homeworld and potentially influence of the warp made Morallians hyper-aggressive species that expanded and saw every other intelligent life as hostile. When they encountered Nikasar, they attacked their research vessel and took the skip drive from inside. Unlike warp drive, skip drive could be comprehended by the Queens and replicated. With FTL drive, Morallians began a total war against the Alliance, which led to the First Coalition War, and Nikasar finding the Tau who joined the Alliance. Tau were the force that changed the balance of the war and led to Morallian defeat. When the loss was certain, in the act of desperation, one of the Queens created First Ambassador, trying to save the Hive. First official diplomatic contact was established between Morallians and other species. Tau offered them a guarantee of survival if they became their subject. The Morallians agreed, joining the coalition. Morallians had no say in joining the coalition in 3151 year of Era of Unity or 473rd year of Millennium 38. They accepted a total surrender to the Tau, not the Alliance, and with the establishment of the coalition, they became its member, standing by the side of their new masters and former enemies. Status in the coalition: subject of the Tau Empire. Morallians, although technically a member of the coalition, are under direct control of the Tau Empire, or more specifically, the Furials. Morallians are fully subservient to the will of the Tau, and although they do make some moves for the sake of the Hive, they would never stand against the will of the Furials. Even their population and number of hives is directly controlled by the Tau Empire. Government. Hive representatives. As mentioned before, Morallian queens have problems comprehending politics. As such, ambassadors usually play the role of Morallian representatives on political stage, when commanders do the same on military stage. Role within the coalition. Morallians are a source of cheap labor and mass-produced military units. They are important in construction and military operations, but little outside of that. Morallian biotechnology naturally answers to Morallian biology, and it's almost impossible to adopt it for general use. Same goes for the living ships and bio-battlesuits. They can only interface with Morallians. Attempts were made to make Morallian bioships comfortable for other species, but they failed. As such, Morallians possess their own unique navy, vehicles, and battlesuits. However, as Morallians are capable of fusing their biotech with standard tech, image of Morallian battlesuit using standard crisis battlesuit weaponry isn't in any way surprising. In terms of technological research, the Queens are responsible for creating everything and anything new. But all of it is hardwired to be for the sake of the Hive, and as such, very few Morallian inventions could be adopted for general use. Many things they developed were, however, a source of inspiration. Both battlesuits and flying support drones were originally Morallian invention, which inspired Tau Earthcast engineers who adopted many of their design solutions into their own machines. Morallian hives are deployed on Ethereal's discretion to provide support in construction or in military operation. It's hard to find a sept that doesn't have a small Morallian hive, which could grow in size in an extremely short time, supporting massive construction projects or military efforts. Because of Morallian massive potential growth, Queen's intelligence and ambassadors and commanders' individual initiative, Tau are very careful with keeping Morallian population under control in fear of possible rebellion against the Tau and the coalition. Or even worse, Morallians breaking from Tau control and gaining full membership, which would allow Morallians to grow at terrifying speed and, with creation of specialized castes, take over the entire coalition.